Welcome to Fran's Friends. Today I'm going to work on my Little Mini Bear series, and I'm going to do the bear for my son's Warwick graduation with his MBA. So what I've done is I've taken the t-shirt that he brought me home, and I've cut the t-shirt into pieces. Normally what I like to do is I want to save as much as possible. So what I do is I cut the sleeves off first. Then I utilize the sleeves for as much as I possibly can. And then I just cut one side of the shirt so that I've got a really good piece of material that I can work with. And I love working with t-shirt materials. As long as they're stabilized, they're really easy to work with. So what I've then done is I've taken and I decided on a adhesive fleece interfacing. So I cut out two pieces, the size that will cover the size of whatever bear you want to make. And I pressed it onto the back of the t-shirt sleeves. And then what I did was I thought I'm going to utilize the edges, the finished edges. So I just put the interfacing just up to the seam line on the outer part of the t-shirt sleeve. And then what I did was I just sewed it, leaving an opening for my bear. And then I'll take it to press, and then I'll have the back of my bear organized for sewing. So basically what you've done is you've sewed the two pieces together. This is what it looks like on the inside. Turn it over, and I've done a row of stitching on either side, and then I've also left that one space open for the opening for turning the bear inside out. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to get your front body put together, and wanting to put the lettering about central chest on your bear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put my interfacing on the back, and I'm just going to iron it on so that the chest will fit approximately right across those letters. That way you're incorporating the date and the name of the school, Warwick, and then the actual logo. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then what we're going to do is just cut that out from your material. And the best way to do it is cut a piece of your interfacing, this fleece interfacing, iron it on, and then cut your piece out. Makes it a lot easier. Now what you want to do is to just trace out whatever bear pattern you're going to use, and do a tracing, and that's the sewing line that you're going to be sewing along to make the bear. Be careful when you're putting your pattern together, the middle or the seam is going to be the middle of your logo, and the B on the logo is about halfway. So what I've done is I've taken the actual seam and lined it up so it's going to be even, and the logo should sit about center body on my bear. I've taken it to my machine, and I'm just going to use the center stitching and go all the way around that marking line, and then right back around to the top again. And then I'm going to take it away from the machine and then just cut about, maybe a little less than 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and then you can turn the bear inside out. At this point, your stitching is all done, and this is what it looks like on the back side, and you turn it over, and this is what it looks like on the front. Now, this is a very simple thing to do. You're not cutting your pattern out a front and a back and then having to bind them together with a basting stitch. This way you've got lots of maneuver, very simple to do, and makes the stitching so much easier. So it works like a charm, and I use this particular technique as much as I possibly can in a lot of the projects that I do. Now here's the bear finished, just turning him inside out. And I'm really very pleased with how the logo ended up being very nicely centered. It gives you the class year, it gives you the actual logo itself, and then the edging on the logo. So I'm very pleased with how that came out. And that's the whole thing, is if you take your time and sort of measure and look and measure, you're going to get a better quality outcome. So I'm very pleased with that. If you turn them over, that technique that I used by using the edging of the shirt sleeve, I'm really pleased with that, and I think I'm going to carry on using that in most of my little bears from now on. So I'll start with the head next, and then I'll finish this little treasure off fairly shortly. Now that the body has been finished, other than the stuffing, the polyester stuffing that goes inside, I've cut out a head using any pattern that you wish. There's tons of very basic little bear patterns out there. So choose one. I would suggest stay small, because most of the logos on the t-shirts that you're working with are small. And you want your whole emphasis to be actually on the logo, and you don't want it to look dwarfed. So I've cut out a front and a back of the head. What I've done is I've, with heat and bond, put on some ears and a muzzle and a couple of eyes, and then a little plastic nose. Then I've taken it to my machine and I've just stitched around the bottom edge and leaving the ears and the top of the head open. And if you can look close, you'll see that I've got a seam there. And the seam is because I've utilized some of the t-shirt fabric, so I didn't waste it and put a little seam, and it looks so fine. So then what I'm going to be doing now is to turn it inside out, and then I will gently stuff it with the polyester stuffing, and then I will stitch around the ears and across the top of the head with just a blanket stitch to finish it off. Then I'll be attaching the head to the body with just either a button, or you could just do it with nothing and just a couple of tacking stitches. But again, use any basic, very limited little bear pattern just to keep it really, really simple. As you can see, I've now turned the head to the right side, and you can now see the little eyes that I put on and the little plastic nose. So what I did was I stitched around each of the little heat and bond ears, and then the muzzle was heat and bond, so I've stitched around there. Then what I did was I stitched across the ear to stabilize it for the stuffing to stay in. As you can see on the back, that's what it looks like when it's been stitched. And again, that nice little seam that I had made because I put two fabrics together. Then what I did was I put my polyester stuffing in, and now what I'm doing is just the final step of blanket stitching around the ears and across over the head and then back over the other ear. So that's basically what the head is going to look like. I will be putting on a little mouth just with some embroidery floss. So it'll soon be finished, and I'm actually very pleased with it. We're nearing completion of this project, this little project for my mini bear series of my son's master's degree in business. And what I did was I completely filled the bear head and body with polyester fiber. I took some very heavy-duty thread to the arms and to the legs and drew a stitch around to pull them. Now you can either just do that with the polyester in there, or you could put a bead or wooden bead in there to just give it some extra body. And then I finished off the blanket stitching around the head, and then I secured the head to the body by just using a button. So I'll just turn them around and that's the button that I put on, just getting it through the head part and the body, and then he is now pretty well muchly finished. So I'm quite pleased with them. While working on this project, it reminded me of the time my son helped me critiquing any of the papers I wrote for my nursing degree. And I'm very proud of this little bear because I know how much work goes into a master's degree. So in closing, I would like to say one or two little things. These are not toys. These are memory keepsakes. So I would never do anything like this for a child. If I was to ever do anything for a little one, I would embroider the nose and also embroider the eyes. But because they're not used as toys, they're used as memory mobilia, then I don't do that. And I'm very reluctant to. I've had lots of people ask me if I would make something for their baby, and I'm very reluctant to do that because I would always be so scared that something would happen if they bit something off or whatever. So that's my wonderful memory bear for my son's graduation, and I look forward to our next project.